What do you get when you mix explosive action, hilarious comedy, and two unforgettable stars? You get Rush Hour, the buddy cop movie that has been making the audience laugh and cheer for over 20 years. From Jackie Chan's jaw-dropping stunts to Chris Tucker's rapid-fire humor, this movie is a wild ride of laughs, thrills, and unforgettable moments. But what makes Rush Hour such a timeless classic? Stick around and we'll break it all down for you, from the action-packed stunts to the heartwarming friendship that drives it all. What's up everyone, welcome back to another movie review. Today, we're diving into Rush Hour, the 1998 action comedy that shook up the buddy cop genre and gave us one of the most iconic duos in movie history, Jackie Chan and Chris Tucker. With non-stop action, hilarious banter, and some seriously memorable moments, Rush Hour is the kind of movie you can watch over and over again, whether you're a longtime fan or watching for the first time. There's plenty to love here, so buckle up as we break down why Rush Hour is still as entertaining today as it was back in the late 90s, and as always, I'll keep spoilers to a minimum so you can enjoy the movie if you haven't seen it for yourself. This movie kicks off with the kidnapping of a Chinese diplomat's daughter in Los Angeles. And this is where we meet Inspector Lee, a seasoned cop from Hong Kong, played by the legendary Jackie Chan. He's called in to help the FBI, but when they decide they don't want nothing to do with him, they dump him off on the LAPD. And here's where we meet Detective James Carter, played by the one and only Chris Tucker, who in typical Carter fashion is absolutely not interested in helping Lee. Well, at least at first. Now, this is where things get interesting. The entire film is built around the push and pull dynamic between Lee and Carter. Jackie Chan is the calm, disciplined martial artist with a nonsense approach to crime solving, while Chris Tucker is the loudmouth with a sense of humor that doesn't know when to quit. And that's where the magic happens. They're bickering constant jabs at each other, and contrasting personalities create some truly comedic moments, making their partnership both hilarious and heartwarming. But let's talk about why it works so well. First off, Jackie Chan's action sequences in this movie are a thing of beauty. We're talking about flawless choreography that takes full advantage of his incredible martial arts skills. In Rush Hour, Chan's stunts aren't just about looking cool, they're about telling a story, whether he's disarming a thug with ease or dodging bullets in a high-speed chase. Every move is calculated and serves the plot. His fight scenes are so well executed that they elevate the action genre. And then there's Chris Tucker, who completely steals the show with his rapid-fire delivery of infectious energy. His one-liners, facial expressions, and comedic timing are nothing short of legendary. Whether he's on Lee's nerves or cracking jokes to diffuse a tense situation, Tucker's performance keeps things lighthearted and makes Rush Hour more than just another action flick. In fact, the humor is so well done that you almost forget it's an action movie at times. But of course, Rush Hour isn't just about the laughs and the fight scenes. There's a genuine chemistry between Jackie Chan and Tucker that goes way beyond the script. You can see the growth of their friendship as the movie progresses. What starts as a forced partnership slowly evolves into a mutual respect and a bit of a friendship. The film does a great job of balancing action with characters' development, and that's what keeps things grounded amidst all of the chaos. Now, if you're wondering what the golden moment of Rush Hour is, let me tell you. It's a dynamic between Lee and Carter during their biggest confrontation. This is where the film really shines. It's the moment where, despite everything, these two characters truly click. They've spent the whole movie clashing, but when it comes down to it, they both bring their best to the table. The fight sequences in this part of the movie are a mix of intense action and hilarious moments. Think flying fist, well-timed one-liners, and a level of physicality that Jackie Chan and Chris Tucker absolutely nail. It's here that we see just how much their relationship has grown, and it's honestly one of the most satisfying moments in the entire film. But of course, let's not forget that this film wouldn't be what it is without the chemistry between Jackie Chan and Chris Tucker. It's their personalities that make this Rush Hour experience so memorable and rewatchable. Now let's talk about the things that I like and some of the things that I didn't. First, we have Chris Tucker's ability to make you laugh at any moment. This is a major plus. There's no shortage of jokes, and while some might be a bit outdated, they land 90% of the time. And if you're a fan of martial arts and high energy stunts, Jackie Chan delivers like no other. His fight scenes are sharp, his choreography is genius, and he makes everything look effortless. The sequences, especially those involving the use of the environment around him, are especially memorable. And as I mentioned before, the bond between Carter and Lee is the heart of the movie. Their partnership is what makes Rush Hour stand out among other buddy cop action films. It's fun, genuine, and entertaining. Now, we're going to talk about some things I dislike. And no movie is perfect, but there are a couple things in Rush Hour that I didn't quite like. The villain. The film's antagonist, Jun Tao, played by Tom Wilkinson, is, well, he's just kind of underwhelming. He's not particularly intimidating, and honestly, his presence doesn't really feel like a genuine threat to our heroes. For a movie like this, you expect the villain to be a bit more dangerous, I guess you could say. Someone who could stand toe-to-toe with Lee and Carter. Unfortunately, Jun Tao doesn't quite live up to that expectation. And while I absolutely love this movie and I've watched it many times, it does rely on some overused tropes, like the unlikely pair dynamic is a well-worn path, and while it works here, it's not exactly breaking new ground. Now that you know my likes and my dislikes of this movie, let's talk about why it works overall. And at its heart, Rush Hour is about opposites colliding and ultimately complementing each other. The film thrives on the tension and humor that comes from the cultural and personality differences between Detective Lee and Detective Carter. It's not just an action comedy, it's a story about bridging gaps, whether they're professional, cultural, or personal. But now that we know why it works overall, let's talk about what makes it stand out from other buddy cop movies. Here's why. It stands out from other buddy cop movies because of the undeniable chemistry between Jackie Chan and Chris Tucker. Their banter feels natural, their timing is impeccable, and their growth as a team is as satisfying as the action sequences themselves. While the fight and laughs keep the pace brisk, it's the genuine connection between the two wildly different characters that gives the film its heart. The balance of chaos and camaraderie is what keeps Rush Hour an all-time classic. Overall, Rush Hour is a film that hits most marks, thanks to its incredible performances, unforgettable action sequences, and hilarious moments. Jackie Chan and Chris Tucker are a perfect pairing, and their dynamic continues to make this movie a classic all these years later. Sure, the villain might be the most memorable, and some of the tropes might be a bit predictable, but these are small gripes in an otherwise action-packed, fun-filled movie. And if you haven't seen Rush Hour yet, it's definitely worth the watch, and if you have, I recommend go rewatching it, because there's not really many comedies like it these days. If you enjoy this style video, I'll really appreciate if you could check out my previous video on Dune Part 1. You'll see it on your screen right now. And as always, stay entertained and let's keep the conversation going.